Hello, everyone. My name is Nipul Choksi. I'm VP of Marketing here at Dun & Bradstreet. Thank you all for joining us today for our session, Winning Sales Plays for Igniting Growth. According to a recent Gartner study, more and more buyers are no longer in buying mode, just due to current events. Buyers are holding off on making purchases and are extending buying cycles. What does that mean from a sales and marketing standpoint, however? Inevitably, most of the recommendations around what sales and marketing need to be doing in order to capitalize on the new normal, boil down to increasing focus on accounts and contacts that matter, engaging more effectively with more personalized messaging, delivering insights and value to your customers. And then lastly, making sure that your team is properly organized for success. And so to talk about that and what their specific playbook is for adapting to this new normal and indeed delivering on growth for their business, I'm really excited to have Peter Larkin, Chief Revenue Officer of True Influence, here to share his story. And so with that context, let me turn it over to you, Peter.
So let me tackle first a little bit about who we are. True Influence was founded in 2008, and we have been in the data world, lead generation, B2B world for the last several years. And the focus for us has been leveraging data, technology, and content to really build high impactful marketing programs, campaigns. And we discuss those as more of our execution channels, leveraging data, driving leads, focused on B2B. Other aspect of our business is on the data world. And we are a major data player, leveraging intent and different signals, firmographic data to drive intent, which helps our customers kind of understand depths of market, as well as who's in market today, and tie it to ABM lists as well. We recently launched our ABM marketing platform, which is a real key factor for us in terms of where we're going today and where we're going tomorrow. But it ties into everything that we're allowing our customers to do. It's reach, helping our customers reach for more customers, engage, helping them engage with their audience at the right times, and then activate a fully activated solution to where they can not only activate campaigns and programs, but also understand midpoint their campaigns as well. We're strong in the tech space. We are very focused on technology and from Microsoft's and IBM's and OpenText and various customers, but from vertical markets, focused and challenged and targeting across B2B, fintech, health tech, and the telcos as well, and really looking to engage on that factor. A little about me. I've been the Chief Revenue Officer at True Influence since December of 2019. Prior to that, the first 2 years here, I was leading our East sales team, as well as heavily involved in our channel aspects of our business and our international expenditure as well. Been in the industry for way too long, but been at True Influence for 2.5 years and really enjoying it. In terms of kind of setting the presentation up and talking a little bit about some of the goals that we have as a company, and more so as a sales force, when we think about where we are and where we want to go, is that in our world, the MarTech world, our number one goal as a sales team was to grow our direct business. And the MarTech world is very resides and focuses on leveraging the agency world. And they're very important. Agencies drive that revenue and drive partnerships and drive that interaction. But our focus this year was to really focus on building our direct revenue in excess of 35% for the year. We are happy to report exceeding that goal with about 4 months to go, which is great. And then in order to do that, we have to arm our sales team with tools that allows them to understand prospects, understand information about new accounts, and get it easily to them. So not only can you open up new doors at what we call our acquire companies, but also, we have a very large customer base, and we want to cross-sell, we want to upsell, and provide them with different solutions that we have to allow that. And then I think from overall, we talk about productivity, and productivity a year ago compared to now, there's a lot of the same things that we're doing, but we want to provide our team with tools and resources that allows them to have the information that they need at their fingertips. So as we jump to kind of the next slide, we talk about the need. And for us, it was kind of interesting because when we kind of looked at our need factor and where we want to go and take us as a sales organization, our sellers and how we are aligned is we are aligned off a named account strategy. So understanding how those named accounts work is critical for us to land and expand and go wider and deeper. So learning information about subsidiaries, learning information about branches, how they're tied together allows us to do that. We have a diverse team here. So we have a team that has been here for years and works off the account management strategy. So the information that we can plug into them, allowing them to go into other branches and groups within the organization is huge. But for our net new account sellers, our sellers that are focused on direct, providing them information that allows them to really gather different points that allows them to be consultative and intelligent about the prospect is key. In our world, we focus a lot with ABM. So in our marketing campaigns and our programs, we are not only doing our own marketing ABM campaigns, but we're also looking to expand lists our customers are providing to us. So we often have to, leverage the tree to help our customers expand those lists. And then, I touched on it briefly, but the Hoover's application has helped us fill a need within our customer support structure, where we can look to go wider and deeper and offer more to our customers because we're gathering further knowledge at the service level and at the organizational level to build more robust programs, allowing for better targeting and helping our customers further understand and explore new opportunities with their lists and their targeting. And I think the overall end need here is to allow ourselves to be as consultative as we possibly can. So when we think about bringing information to sellers, and slide to the next slide, we kind of think about it before and after, and I'm putting it right into relevance as to how we brought Hoover's. And I've been at True Influence for 2.5 years now, and really started using Hoover's towards the end of last year, and it really starting to make an impact. And before, we were using a variety of selling tools, to kind of identify additional information about accounts, and you were gathering all different website information, going to different social platforms, and it was all kind of mixed match. But we wanted to bring everything into kind of one solution. We were using Google for trigger points. You put keywords into Google and you get updates. Okay, that's messy and confusing. And then for us, a big factor was we would leave money on the table. Often, from a sales perspective, we never want to leave money on the table. But when we start thinking about our ABM list, the type of leads that we were guaranteeing and programs we were structuring, we were missing something. We didn't have a good resource in terms of being able to dig in and further understand how we could expand lists. Today, and over the last several months, we've done some things where we've implemented Hoover's, and not only implemented it, we've layered in some training with our reps. We actually have a few reps here at True Influence that have really experienced in using it. So it allows us to really dig on to that entire family tree, but also plug it into the Salesforce system that we are using. So it's a resource at their fingertips, which is great. The information's awesome. I mean, it's got relevant articles. It's got useful information about the specific accounts, not only the account but also its branches and subsidiaries. And it helps our sales reps increase productivity because they have one resource to get information, or they have this resource plugged into their main resource, so they're not hunting all over the place for that information. And then again, that third point, I know this is more sales related in terms of a presentation, but for us, it's really helped our sales folks sell more, because we've been able to come back to our customers and say, hey, on this ABM list you provided us, we can expand, and we can expand to these buying groups, we can expand to these subsidiaries, which allows us to identify more targets for them, which has been really good for us. And then from a kind of a case study perspective, we slide on to highlighting Chris McGinn. And Chris is a sales rep of ours based out of California. And he's been with us since about September, and he's one of our newer folks. And the challenging part for Chris, a lot of industry experience, like most of our reps that we have on board here at True Influence, is they come with a lot of experience. They've worked in a lot of different places. So we're asking them to not only leverage what they know, so accounts and contacts and things of that nature that they know, and most of those are tech, right? Because we've all kind of grew up in the technology space. But we've asked Chris to kind of look and build some targets against expanding us vertically. So as I mentioned, we're a B2B company. We're focused on not only the technology world, but we're looking to branch and further double down on some of the vertical markets that we're in. And we tasked Chris with kind of focused on manufacturing and service. And when we start thinking about the different resources that he has at his fingertips, Hoover's is one of them. And he was able to build out kind of a prospecting list as a starting point. And what was great was that he built a list leveraging Hoover's. So, you're getting the name and DUNS and address, domain level. The information's completely accurate, which is great. But he built a list of 6,000 companies. And that's 6,000 companies. I know it's a lot. Chris isn't sitting there, going through each one of them, but it allows him to get a starting point, a high-level starting point that he can plug into some other avenues that he has at his fingertips, that the data he's getting is quality, the list he's building is quality, and now he can kind of start breaking down that list. He can break it down by revenue. He can break it down by geo-targeting in terms of, hey, he's focused on California today, or he's focused on the Midwest tomorrow. But he can also layer it into some of the tools that we have provided him to where he can start leveraging intent. So now he's matching proven solid information from Hoover's that he knows, as well as with intent. And it's allowed him to really start identifying a list, but also starting to be more productive in terms of going out and being consultative with these folks and opening some doors for net new opportunities. What's changed as we move to digital, and as we slide to the next slide, is and I think it's interesting, is that for many of the folks within the walls of True Influence, the traditional before avenue has always been there. And I think we, prospect list, using Hoover's. Well, yeah, but it was really never integrated into our sales force. It was always a different resource that we had that we leveraged and used, among others. And then the traditional kind of blocking and tackling, where it was, email and telephone calls and face-to-face meetings and face-to-face events and dinners and sporting events. And it was a lot about, getting FaceTime with your customers and even getting FaceTime with your prospects, which again, it's challenging. It's a competitive market, and getting in front of these folks, especially new folks, can be challenging. And now, as we have kind of moved to digital or transitioned to what today is a little bit different than it was 6 months ago, and what's it going to look like in 6 months from now is going to be a little bit different from today. But I think we've gotten better at not only leveraging and implementing Hoover's into our Salesforce platform, so that information is at their fingertips, opposed to having to go elsewhere to get it. We've also really focused our sales groups and our marketing team into some ABM focused programs. So not only with leveraging video and leveraging video and information to our existing customer base, but we've also started to use the ABM strategy and videos to acquire customers. So acquire our true prospects, and leveraging information, and then so those videos are actually personalized with not only who I am, but also a little information about who they are and what we know about them. Allows us to be consultative and really leverage video in the right way. As a company, we have really explored and really doubled down on LinkedIn. So it's been a good combination for us as we look forward. Is we've used LinkedIn from our own kind of True Influence brand build. It's been a big focus for us the last 4 or 5 months. But from a sales rep perspective, building your own social brand is important. Leveraging and moving company information through that is helpful, especially in the sales cycle. But also following, linking to your customers and your prospects, which allows us to learn more about them through LinkedIn. And then some of the things that we're doing, probably more today than we were a month ago, is that we are really leveraging the virtual aspect of things, where I can probably sense that there is some, video or virtual fatigue going on, but we're trying to be smart about, leveraging roundtables. I mentioned the individualized, personalized sales videos, which can be, in my opinion, can be a little bit of a hit or miss, especially when they're not pointed, they don't make a point. And so we've really focused on understanding and making a point in the first few sentences to evangelize that. And then we're doing a lot of follow-up meetings virtually as well. So it's been a big balance for us, and it's interesting. It's like the slide could also be before, after, and what's next. And I think from a next perspective, there's going to be a lot of combination of where we are. And I think face-to-face meetings are definitely going to come back. I think events and things like that will come back. But I think the tools that we are building now, in this current market, where leveraging it for ABM and leveraging that virtual selling and prospecting tools is going to be really beneficial as we move forward as a sales force. What's interesting for us is that we are, as we slide next, is that the focus for kind of True Influence is that our whole focus is on data. So when we talk about our uniqueness in the market, we talk about our relevance engine, we talk about our identity graph triangulation, we talk about triple check. And what's important for this is, I was talking about Chris earlier, is that when Chris identifies a list of accounts that he wants to strategically target, targeting the manufacturing and service world, is that he's just not relying on information that we can find through Hoovers, or we can find on their website, or we can find through a press release. We're also balancing that with intent. So our customers use this religiously in terms of how we execute our programs and how we execute our data solutions. But our sales reps use it as well. So they take that ABM list they've built, they take that list of accounts, and that information, that intent, is plugged right into their sales force. So not only do they have the Hoover's information readily accessible to them, they also have intent. So it provides some matching for them as they start to look at it, so they can understand this account focused on manufacturing. Here's kind of the blocking and tackling information about them, but here is the information based on intent as to what they're active against, what they're interested in, what their searches are against. So it really allows for a rep to really combination of both, understand a little bit about the company, but also understand what their employees are active against. And that could be, different keywords, different topics to really help that conversation move forward. As we slide to the next slide, talk a little bit about the importance of our launch, which has been the Marketing Cloud. But I'm talking about this not from a customer's perspective, I'm talking about it from a sales perspective. And the Marketing Cloud for our sales reps allows them to really benefit from the elements of data and the element of intent for them to help understand where they're going. So we have a complete data analytics arm. We have an audience management where we hygiene, we clean the data. We can also help identify different buying groups beyond that. So for example, if your contact at an organization is the CMO, great. CMO, and this is all the information that you have on the company. Well, we can also layer in with our intent platform and our marketing cloud for them to understand who else they should be marketing to and researching against and targeting at that organization. So it's providing more information at the hands of our sales reps. And we talk about reach, engage, and activate as solutions or tools for the marketing cloud. It's very key for our sales force as well, because it allows them to expand their reach. It allows them to engage because they're knowing more about the individual, and they can also activate against it as well. So very much a clean process. And then, touch on the next slide very briefly, but when we talk about our intent analysis process, and I'm sure, most organizations like a Hoover's has this type of kind of checks and balances that they have throughout the process. We do the same thing. So when we think about our, intent analysis process, we have a wide range of data points coming through on the left side. And that's, company data, firmographic stuff. We have our own intent data, first party, bitstream, cookie data, tech install, and all that stuff gets funneled into, our analysis to where we're hygiening, cleaning that data, we're matching it, and it allows us to identify different keywords, what domains are active against those keywords, and also the user that is tied to that domain that's showing the most activity. So again, customers make very much a benefit of this, but also our sales reps do as well, because we're providing real key data points and information against the accounts that they're looking for, and we put it right at their fingertips, and that is a key element. Next slide, please. And I always laugh when we title a slide, "Why Our Intent Data is Better." And this is something that is very important for our sales team, and why when we talk to our customers, we're talking about quality, relevance, and identity resolution. We're talking about our identity graph triangulation, which allows us to connect, the user to the domain level. We're talking about our relevance engine, which we built, and it's our own engine as we move forward. But the data quality is key. And when I think about when we're plugging our data in front of our sales team for them to use and leverage, it's the same mix from the Hoover's mix as well. Because if we can provide our quality information and put it into one tool, which for us is Salesforce, so we have different points coming in from all over the place, it allows everything at their fingertips. If you go jump 2 slides for me, I'm going to skip the relevance engine slide. I'm going to skip that one as well. Talked about those a little bit. And I think this is important. We talk about data quality, and I'll talk about kind of the stubbornness of our sales team, is that our sales team is very stubborn in terms of the type of data sources that we use and leverage. And that goes back to what we are from a company knowing the market. So when you talk about true influence in the market, most people know us by our triple check verification process, where 100% guaranteed, no questions asked. And what that means is that every lead that we deliver, every data interaction that we move to somebody, whether it's through our data platforms or whether it's through our lead generation programs, is 100% verified. So we do an email verification, we do a tele verification, and we also we do a social interaction with them as well. And it's all business contact information. So when you think about that for our customers, it's great. But when you think about that from our sales perspective, when we are delivering leads or delivering marketing qualified leads, or we're delivering our intent signaling through Salesforce, this applies as well. So it really allows us to build confidence in the information that we're delivering to our sales team, and they are also as rigorous in terms of the type of data points that we're bringing in. So it ties it back to that Hoover's mix of providing us a resource that is not the answer to everything, but it's a one combination that we have been able to, or it's the one point that we have been able to bring in that's allowed us a central point for a lot of information that we can plug into our tools and use that as we move forward. And then my last slide, it's more of a little bit about some of the award stuff that True Influence has won over the last, last 18 months or so, and talks a little bit about, a marketing management platform, which is basically insight base, which is evolved to our ABM Marketing Cloud, and it's great. You win some awards and things like that, which is great from a brand perspective. However, when we think about the tools that we're using to make our sales team more productive, we're not only using outside resources, but we're also using internal resources, our own intent, our own data play, to mirror those together and integrate them, which allows for our sales team to really be able to be productive and to be consultative to the needs of their customers and to the needs of their prospects to set the table for the next call. And I think that is pretty much it from my side. So we'll leave it for a Q&A.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. That was great. I especially love the insights that you provided around how your reps are able to really get a better understanding of their prospects and to be a lot more targeted. So along those lines, we've got a couple of questions. We've got time for maybe 2 questions here. But one of the questions that is coming in is, can you talk a little bit more about prioritization and focus? How specifically are your reps kind of figuring out who they should be talking to next, where they should be focusing their time? Obviously, when you sell a product to a large market, there's a need to focus. So just wanted to understand how you guys think about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's interesting for us is that we kind of have a couple different sales teams within our MarTech direct team. Is that we have reps that have been here, been established, have been here a long time, and they're dealing with a lot of accounts, a lot of customers, and looking to expand that out. So they leverage resources in different focal points to where they can go into different units, into different groups within that organization to understand that. So understanding more company information is valuable, but also leveraging intent and data to help them go down that road is wildly important. And then the other facet of our sales force is relatively new. They've been here over the last year, 5 or 6 of them, 7 of them. And now it's about identifying new markets and new vertical areas for them to go into. So it's understanding who's active in the market, and then also understanding the more information about that company that you can find out without having to ask them is critical, because that means that you've done your homework, you're trying to be consultative, and that's how we've really layered that in.
Awesome. And so that's kind of along the lines of what we've heard with our other customers as well. We've got probably a minute for one additional question here. So you mentioned doing your homework. So can you talk a little bit about the type of homework that your reps do in order to make sure that their conversations with prospects are as relevant and as engaging as possible?
Right. It is research. It is understanding, press releases. It's understanding the hierarchy of the company. It's understanding products. It's understanding where they're spending. It's understanding what their initiatives are. It's understanding, not only what they sell, but also where they sell. So it could be, are they selling into different markets vertically, or are they selling into different regions? So it's really having a holistic approach, as much as you can know about a customer or a prospect before you pick up the phone, and that makes you much more consultative and can ease a conversation. And I think for us, it's always great when you make a phone call and they go, yeah, well, all that information is available on my website. It's an instant learning point. Read the website, dig into the Ubers, find out the information you can, understand data and intent and how it plays, and it really helps you kind of carry forward in terms of having an educated discussion, opposed to just calling and saying, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. And that's what we try to be able to do, is just do as much homework as we can, which allows us to have better conversations.
Awesome. That's great. Preparation is always key, making sure you have kind of those deep insights about your customers and prospects, so that you're not just approaching things from an inside out perspective. You're actually looking on the customer perspective. So that's great. Well, thank you very much for doing this, Peter. This was really great. Your presentation was excellent. There's a whole bunch of other questions here that we're seeing. We don't have time to answer them now live, but we will reach out to you folks after this session is over. In the meantime, thank you for attending, and please enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.